This, ladies and gentlemen, is the all-new 3 Series. In its 7th generation, BMW has made it bigger, which means more space on the inside. They've given it a completely new identity on the outside. They've spruced up the interiors, and they say that it is much more fun to drive this time around. Well, let's find out.
The G23 series has grown in size and measures 76mm longer, 16mm wider and a millimeter taller than its predecessor. Wheelbase has gone up by 41mm, while the front and rear track have increased by 43mm and 21mm respectively. The low-slung nose features a wider kidney grille flanked by full LED headlamps featuring U-shaped LED daytime running lights. Towards the rear, the 3 Series gets slim tail lamps with chunky L-shaped motifs with darkened elements giving it a very sporty look, which is further enhanced by the twin tailpipes. Both the front and rear bumpers get identical T-shape elements. Our test car, the 320D in luxury line trim, was equipped with 17-inch alloys, which we feel looked a bit too plain. Inside, the 3 Series gets a dashboard and center console layout reminiscent of the X5 and the X7 SUVs, complete with a fully digital instrument panel with a 12.3-inch display and a 10.25-inch display for the touch-sensitive central screen for the iDrive.
So like I mentioned, the 3 Series has grown in size. It's got a longer wheelbase, so there's more space on the inside, and that is true. That's generally more space compared to the previous generation. The front seat right now is set according to my height, and I've got plenty of leg room and plenty of room to stretch my legs out. But even with someone who's 6 feet tall, if they're in the driver's seat, I'm very certain there'll be plenty of space for you here, which is obviously a good thing, especially for those who are looking to be driven around in their car and not get behind the wheel all the time. The seats as such are really comfortable. It's got this nice shoulder room. There's plenty of support for your back, but the thigh support is a little lacking, but nothing too concerning. The seat is actually not too low. It's at a good height. It's very comfortable. There's a 3-zone climate control, so the people in the back get their own dedicated zone. They also get 2 USB-C charging ports. The one thing they don't get is a sunroof. This one does not have a panoramic sunroof, so it has a fairly large sunroof as such, but it's not panoramic, so it doesn't stretch all the way back, so you won't be treated to that. But other than that, it's a good place to sit. It's very comfortable, it's very nice, and if you're looking for something that will occasionally or maybe even mostly be driven by a chauffeur in this price segment, it's not a bad car at all.
The front seats are very comfortable too and can be electrically adjusted. They also come with memory function. The boot, however, is cramped, especially with the space saver spare placed in it. 3 Series does come with split folding seats though, so luggage room can be increased by folding them down.
The one new thing with this one is something called the BMW Virtual Assistant, which is basically like Siri in your iPhone or OK Google in your Android phone. So I can just talk to the car and ask the car to do certain things for me. So I'll just show you. I'm going to give you a small demo. Hey BMW.
Hello, what can I help you with?
What's the temperature outside?
The outside temperature is 34 degrees Celsius.
Hey BMW.
Hello, what can I help you with?
I'm cold.
No problem, I'm raising the temperature.
There are other commands. You can always ask the car to dial someone's number for you or set navigation settings. There are plenty of options, but yeah, these are some of the cool features. You can talk to the car. It's very interactive. It's not something we haven't seen in cars these days. I mean, cars much lower down the segment also get these features, but it's still cool. It's new to BMW, so that's why I wanted to point that out.
The 3 Series also boasts features like parking assistant and reversing assistant. However, there is no 360-degree camera view on offer. Also, while the infotainment unit supports Apple CarPlay, there's no support for Android Auto.
Let's get on with the driving part. Now, BMW has said that they've worked hard to make the new 3 Series more fun to drive, more involving. They've done a lot of work with the steering to make it more feelsome. They've increased the front and rear track, which improves stability. They even have a new and very interesting kind of suspension setup, and I won't get into the detail of all that because that's all very technical stuff, but the results are impressive. It is quite a fun car to drive. I mean, the 3 Series traditionally has set benchmarks when it comes to driving pleasure, and this one does the same, and it's very involving to drive. It feels more agile. The steering does feel more communicative than before. It turns in sharp, it changes direction very swiftly, and overall there's no reason to complain, and this is the 3 Series that we've all come to like over the years, the same fun to drive machine.
The steering has the characteristic BMW heaviness, and the suspension is on the stiffer side, but these are traits that help in enhancing the driving experience, so we're not complaining. It is 320D, guys. The 3 Series is powered by a 4-cylinder diesel engine with an output of 190 horsepower and a peak torque of 400 Newton meters. Unlike the previous generation 320D's 2.0-litre diesel, which has a twin-stage turbocharger, the new engine features 2 separate turbos. The 320D can sprint from 0 to 100 km an hour in 6.8 seconds. The new engine feels much more refined than before, with less engine noise filtering into the cabin. It offers sufficient punch, now more than ever at lower speeds, with a very meaty mid-range. The transmission is an 8-speed unit and does its job well for the most part, but can seem hesitant to shift down on occasion when you need it to drop a gear or two and get a move on. The 7th generation BMW 3 Series then is better than its predecessor in every way. It still sets benchmarks in terms of driving experience. Thanks to an intelligent new lift-related dampers, it is more comfortable. There's more space, especially in the back, and there's more tech on offer as well.